Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from at whatever time it is in your place at this time. Welcome into your reading, your Lionsgate portal reading. I am so excited that you're here, and I'm actually really excited to be doing this reading and tomorrow's reading. I've already got a preview of what I'll be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to do a pick a card reading, and I'm not sure what kind yet. I have an idea. It might be an archetypal reading. So tune in tomorrow for that really special reading where you get to pick your own pile. Um, Otherwise, today is going to be guided by the ancestors. The ancestors were coming through very strongly today that they would like to help guide you through this portal, through the Lionsgate portal, a massive, one of the most important portals that we're going to go through. So I am super stoked about what's going to come through. Um, And I have no idea. They're kind of keeping me in the dark. Typically, I get a download or something that indicates what the energy is going to be like, or what's going to come through, what the frequency, right? A little bit of a download, but today they're just keeping me in the dark. So I'm kind of excited. I hope you're having an amazing day today. I've worn my ancestors' ring today, so to help with the energy that is coming through. Yeah, let's get started. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Storm, and I am a psychic medium, among other things. But today I'll be joining you as that. So if you are new to channeled messages, to tarot, to readings of any kind, then please be aware that not all messages are meant for you, or not all parts of the message are meant for you. You need to use your discernment. If it does not feel like it's part of your story, please don't force it to fit. Leave it for who it does belong to. And otherwise, enjoy your reading today. Okay. Okay, so I did actually contemplate on some questions specifically today. I was told that I needed to contemplate today's questions because we are moving through a portal. So, of course, that is very different. The activations are different, the energy is different. Even my energy is really high after tuning into the collective energy. So, there is a level of or a high degree of energy coming through for the collective right now to utilize as we shift through this. Okay? Pardon me. So I'm going to start with, actually, no, I'm being guided away from that. Hold on a second. Uh, okay. So my first question I'm being told to ask is, what are the active cycles that the collective is working on right now? What active cycles are currently open and being worked on in the collective at the moment? Please remember also, this is a collective general reading. It is not a one-to-one personal reading. So again, um, you know, use your discretion when it does come to readings. Use your discernment. Though we may all be going through very similar timelines, certain details may not um, be exact for you. So you'll have to do some of your own interpretation on the messages as it comes out as well. All right. So what are the active cycles that are open and being worked on within the collective right now? Oh, those two. Okay. Ooh, so far, so good. Oh, I spoke too soon. Ah, actually, you know what? I'm getting that that's not so bad. So, all right. We're going to get one more card here. What are the active cycles that the collective's working on right now? That one? Okay. All right. So, as a whole, within the collective, like I said, we are all going through very similar timelines, very similar things happening in the collective. So, it doesn't really matter where you are along your journey. There are threads that tie in to one another, which is why I can channel information for the collective, which, reaches many different types of people on their own journeys, but can be resonated through to each individual along their journey. So, the first thing that I'm getting through this and immediately was downloading as soon as I picked up this attachment card, is that right now the collective as a whole is working on taking action on bringing light to the dark aspects of our shadow. So that means like we're bringing our shadow, integrating it into ourselves so that we are being completed. We are becoming more whole, more balanced, more so living in grace rather than within our shadow. So we are working on bringing that light into our shadow by the integration, by removing the masks, by untethering and untying ourselves, unbinding ourselves from anything or anyone that is lowering our capacity to become the highest version of ourselves or the most authentic version of ourselves. Now, there seems to be some sort of attachment to to the chaos, um, to, when we grow up in chaos, obviously, our nervous system, our minds, our behaviors, a lot of these things, the ways in which we act, our addictions, our afflictions, our pain sensitivity, everything is geared towards chaos, is geared towards a level of dependency on this nature of living in shadow, right? Whereas most people, when they're not on this spiritual journey, on this path, or they haven't quite yet got a lot of their shadow or their egos um, detached from them, like having the ego deaths and things like that, um, then we live in more of a chaotic, stormy, um, giving up our rights to the universe to allow things to happen to us rather than being the co-creators and taking back control of our own lives. So we're often programmed into these belief systems, these ways of being, these ways of behaving. You could even say like immature ways of being, right? So what the collective is really telling me with this card or with these cards here, this spread, is that right now there's a lot of action being taken on your behalf, to illuminate not only what is within the shadow, but your dependency on these energies, on this chaos, on fighting, on lower vibrational energies, or what is that you're saying, Spirit? Oh, okay. Yeah. So they're saying the biggest thing that the collective as a whole is really working on is how to bring balance into their life, which is why we have the sun card here. So, how to live in a higher vibration more consistently rather than giving our power away or our time or our focus or our attention away to something of a lower dimension, something from our past. So, things are trying to come in to your life at this time, whether that's in the form of a person, a situation, some sort of battle. Yeah, and something is coming into your life at this time, which is illuminating an aspect of your own shadow where you are working hard to bring truth and justice to yourself through the illumination of this aspect of who you used to be, because this is past, is what I'm hearing. These are past cycles, past memories, past dynamics between you and another or you and some situation. And they may be coming through that same person or that same dynamic, or they may be coming through as testing from the universe through other avenues, through other people. Like I had it recently, actually. I had this chaos energy, and I even said it out loud to my children. It was funny because I had this chaos energy kind of trying to test me and try to get me off kilter or get me to get upset or lose my patience or lose my temper while I was driving and for 2 days in a row until I actually spoke it out and noted it and said, "Oh, yes, okay, so that's what this is. This is chaos. You could call it chaos magic or chaos energy coming in to try and disrupt me or get me to be off keel or, emotionally dysregulated or to go off path away from the sun and into the chaos, right? To give my power away to that. So it could be showing up in many different ways for you. I mean, for me, it could have been a situation over and over and over for 2 days straight where I could have had road rage, right? And given my power away to that frequency, to that energy. But I recognized it, right? And I recognized in that moment also the old version of myself may have gotten dysregulated by that, may have been frustrated or angry at somebody driving 30 or 20 or 10 in in a area where that is not called for or slamming on the brakes constantly, like I would have probably in the past been a little bit angry or frustrated at that, but I called it out and it dissipated, it disappeared, it lost its own power because I didn't give it any power, right? So this is kind of this was brought forward, this scenario, because this is exactly what is going on. And so it's going to come through in the form of many different avenues. And so spirit is recognizing your tenacity in evolving beyond this shadow aspect. And oh, you have goosebumps. And spirit just wants to confirm, like, here's some validation. I see what you're doing. I know that, no matter where you are on your path, that you're actually putting some effort into seeing the truth behind it and recognizing that you are illuminating old versions of self and allowing them to disappear every time that you deny giving your power away to this chaos energy. So people are actually taking action on this, right? And instead, what's happening is that this storm loses its power. So this storm loses its ability um, to steal energy from you essentially because that's the intention behind it regardless if somebody has spoken this chaos magic into existence or whether it is coming from a manifestation of your shadow self. You are either working on that right now or you're being called to work on that as you move through this portal to just become aware of how it shows up and when it shows up and your attachment to that energy because the thing that I think a lot of us miss is that when we are programmed this way to live in this state or to attract that kind of energy, the only way to remain balanced and to remain focused or train our focus onto what we want is to actually examine how we are attached to that energy, whether it is through a person or a scenario or a situation, or whether it is our own addiction to that energy or to the chemicals that are released in our body every time we feel that emotion, because that creates a dependency too. Right? So there are many different ways that we can be attached to this. Is it our nervous system? If so, do we need to do more work on learning how to regulate our nervous system? Or is it an addiction based on the chemicals released from feeling those emotions? Or is it some aspect of our shadow, like our programming or even our wounds that is still bringing this in? And it seems to me that people are actually doing the inner work to identify these things. And if not, then that is what you're being asked to examine at this time. All right. Lovely. Good energy. Good energy. And I have this sense of Spirit, Holy Spirit, your ancestors being very proud of you for taking the steps that you're taking right now. Now, again, that's going to apply differently for each of you based on where you are in your journey and what steps you're choosing to take for yourself. But I'm getting this feeling of being really proud of you. So claim that if you like in the comments. My ancestors are proud of me. And so am I. Okay, write that if you want to claim that. Let's see here. Where do we want to move next, Spirit? Which deck down? Okay, so what needs to be released? Okay. What needs to be released, Holy Spirit and Holy Ancestors? And thank you, Holy Ancestors, for presiding over this reading. Before I started this reading, I did call upon your Holy Ancestors to join us, as well as my own, and the guardian angels of each collective member who will be tuning into these messages. So thank you for presiding over this portal reading today. We greatly appreciate your time and your assistance. What needs to be released? What needs to be released for the portal or before the end of this portal? Whoa. Shit. Oh, we got lots of cards. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay, not all these cards are going to resonate with each of you. They may not all belong to you, I've heard. So I thought I would communicate that to you. So some will resonate with you, others will not. Again, take what applies to your story. So the first one that we have is pain, apprehension, afraid, cautious. So for some of you, there is still a level of pain. And I'm hearing that for some of you, actually for all of you, this pain, um, there's, how do I put that, Spirit? That it will make sense to the collective, please. Okay, so they're showing me steps, right? So along your journey, you're going to move through similar cycles in different phases of your journey. Because at different phases of your journey, you are capable of seeing or accepting more of your own truth, right? More of who you have been or how you have shown up in the world, which is what determines your ability to change what it is that you're bringing into your world, right? Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Stay with me here. Okay, so at each step of the way that you have to take in order to get along your journey. And sometimes, again, like you're going to repeat cycles. Healing is cyclical, right? So it's a spiral and it's constantly moving. And so um, you're going to have things come up that you thought you worked on, and that is true. You worked on it, but you worked on it at the degree that you were capable or at the level in which your consciousness had entered your body at that time. So your awareness and your consciousness are lower at the beginning of your journey than they are 5 years from now, right? So that means that your ability to see information, to understand it, to accept it, to hold a higher perspective on it is going to shift along your journey. Okay. So with that, this pain that is coming up for some of you, or for all of you, they want me to correct that. For all of you, this is, I don't want to say it's the end of that pain because that's not what they're saying. What they are saying is that this pain needs to be assessed and it needs to be felt and looked at and processed and released in order for you to climb up to the next step. And and for each of you, that level again will be different based on your progress that you've made, or based on where you are starting from, or based on where you've gotten to at this point. But it is a tether to the old version of yourself that you're looking to, I just heard hyper jump from, to hyper jump from. So you want to get away from whatever situation or person or past version of yourself. That's what it is, past version of yourself, that is clinging on to this, right? This aspect of the shadow, of the chaos of the programming. But you do have to cut the ties yourself. Nobody's going to come in and save you or rescue you. You have to be your own rescuer. You have to be the one who puts in that effort. Okay. And so this level of pain may feel really significant for those of you who are at the beginning of your journey. Mhm. And so you're being asked to take the next step and place separation between you and other who is causing this pain. For those of you who are further along, this is more of an integration. So it is a part of facing some situations in your past that have um, caused you pain that you've been holding on to, but it's preventing you from leveling up essentially, right? So there's some aspect of illumination that needs to happen with regards to this pain itself, with regards to the past, and I'm hearing responsibility. So that is not to say that anything that was done or done towards you intentionally to cause you harm or even unintentionally, that was acceptable or okay. But there is a level of responsibility in which you need to claim for yourself on your behalf that needs to come to the forefront and that needs to be processed, because there's something there that your ancestors are waiting to deliver to you. It's a message, or it is a higher insight, or it's a download, or there's something behind this pain that they wish for you to see. They want you to see this. They want to illuminate you and help you to illuminate where this pain is coming from. And that's for all of you, no matter where you are on your path. Um, this pain, when you go into it, when you face it, when you actually start to process it and to release it in a healthy way, then there is a gift there that they're trying to bring through to you. And it could come through a vision, it could come through a dream, it could come through a bunch of synchronicities, it could come through um, another person I just heard. But there is a gift waiting to be delivered to you. And so maybe tuning into your ancestors, meditating or contemplating, or, oh, I just heard automatic writing. So journaling, right? Um, there is something behind this pain, a deeper truth that needs to be revealed that they really want you to go into. Okay. I really needed to go into that card, they told me, because there was a lot to unpack with that. So, what else needs to be released? So we've got the card possibilities here. So this is, to me, speaking about doubt, about your confidence. I'm seeing the colors orange and yellow, which is your sacral chakra and your solar plexus chakra. That's your creative life force energy, your ability um, to create and manifest, as well as your confidence, your self-worth. All of those things are contained within those two chakras. And so this is really talking about doubt around what it is, or your manifestation abilities, or your ability to even separate yourself, I heard, from other, or from certain paths, or from past versions of self. And the possibilities are have always been there. It's just that when we are asleep, we cannot see those possibilities, right? We cannot, because we're dealing with our own wounds, we're dealing with our own baggage, essentially. We cannot see the possibilities, and we cannot see them because we are limiting ourselves based on our own destruction of our own self-worth, oftentimes because we've allowed people or situations to determine our self-worth, um, or determine our ability to create in this world, or to be self-sustainable or to be independent, right? Sometimes we give that away to other people, and then that affects us on a deeper level within these chakras, and affects our ability to believe, to trust. And so what's really coming through is that there's a lot of doubt around your ability to manifest and to create, because there's still possibly, for some of you, whoever this resonates for, there's possibly still some wounding there, or some programming or limiting beliefs around your worth, around your capacity or your capability to be free, or to be independent, or to be strong, or to be courageous, or to really accept yourself, to love yourself, to be confident, right? And if it's a matter of confidence, then it's an issue around maybe building self-trust rather than trust outside of yourself, building trust within yourself, right? Okay, so that's going to, for whoever that resonates with, you're going to want to let that go, or at least work on some of these things, work on a plan on how to rebuild these parts of you before you move through this portal. For others of you, what needs to be released are ideas around intimacy. Um, it was quite a few readings ago, but we did pull a card that said love sucks. And so there are limiting beliefs or ideas about intimacy. And again, no judgment, no shame around where you are. If you're just leaving a nasty relationship, a toxic relationship, a really difficult, or a relationship that has been damaging, whether that's platonic or romantic, you're going to face issues around intimacy, and that's to be expected. So, this message in particular may not be for you if you're just in the beginning stages of that. Okay. This is for the people who have already separated for quite some time from whomever caused issues around intimacy. And this could actually go all the way back to childhood. So there may be some issues around how you bond with other people, how you are able to trust, how you are able to open up, if you're able to be vulnerable. So there may be some issues for some of you that still need to be resolved around that. Maybe you went through something really difficult and it's been really challenging learning how to recommunicate or reconnect with other people because of where you are spiritually and emotionally now. Oftentimes when we go down this path, we get to a point on the journey where when we have to reintegrate with society, it can be a bit challenging, a bit different, because we can see through the masks of people, right? We can see all of their toxic traits, and we can also see how we behave in correlation with them, and what things they bring out within us, even within just um, a sentence of speaking to each other, right? At least that's been my finding along the way. And so there may be a need to recounsel your inner child on what this might look like for you going forward. Or maybe there is a need to create a stronger bond, more intimacy between your inner child and yourself. But I'm getting, for some of you, this is really about redefining what that would look like. And if it were to show up, how that would kind of appear, or what you would like to see, because of course we're not in control of how other people behave. But that way, at least you would know that if it wasn't showing up in a loving way, like, you would know what that love meant, what intimacy actually means to you. And if it wasn't showing up in another person in that way, then you know that that's not a frequency match to you, or a match to how you operate, right? So that's not going to work. So there is a need to define some of that, and to let go of maybe the old belief structures around what intimacy means. And that could also go down to, because, in situations that are very toxic, oftentimes, if somebody has cheated on you, or if they are someone who relies on receiving their validation through sexual desires and things like that, then that's going to create a wound within you as well, right? So that may have distorted your view on what intimacy is, because if you've been with people who believe that that is the only form of intimacy and there's no other thing, then that can leave a scar on you, right? So these are things that you're being asked to look at, and how you view what intimacy means to you and what you would like to see in the future, whether that is through a friendship or through a romantic relationship. Your idea needs to be restructured. So this is your viewpoint and how you actually view intimacy. And then you can make a request to the universe and you can say, this is actually what I want going forward, and I'm not going to accept anything less than I deserve. And if it's not meeting these standards or this way of coming in through another human being, then I know I don't need to judge them or to react to that. I just need to um, confirm my own boundaries around that, that that is not a match for me, that that person in the way that they operate is not a match for me. Okay. So there is a level of needing to upgrade, I guess, your own understanding of your empowerment. This is about your self-empowerment because you have control as to whether or not to let somebody in who does not match your your standards, right? Or not. If they don't meet your standards or they do not meet, and you should have high standards, by the way. You should. It's when we don't that issues and toxic people come in, right? So you should have high standards. And if you don't, that's another thing to reevaluate and assess. But Spirit's saying like a different viewpoint, a higher perspective on this whole idea of what intimacy is needing to be looked at. And then all of the toxic traits or belief systems or the wounds around intimacy need to be released. Okay. All right. What else needs to be released? We've got exhaustion here. Well, okay. We're gonna be really frank here. And you know, on this channel, I don't sugarcoat anything. I tell you exactly what spirit wants me to say. And sometimes that truth hurts, and sometimes it comes out very blunt. This says depletion, drained, long journey. All right. So, yes, these journeys are long. They are exhausting. The work can be exhausting. Releasing the pain, can be exhausting. Going into your shadow constantly can be exhausting. But what I'm going to tell you, and this is what I've learned, is along the journey, the more or the further along you go, dependent on how much time you invest into yourself and your own exploration and releasing of past, the easier this gets and the more energy does come in. Okay. Because you're making space and it actually revitalizes your body too. Right. So there is a need to let go of focusing on the exhaustion, is what I heard. Okay. So everybody in the collective has been tired. This has been a crazy year. I mean, from the beginning of 2024 or even 2023, I just heard. It's been a crazy few years, and everybody in the collective has been experiencing longer periods of exhaustion, depletion, feeling drained. Focusing on that, though, is going to deplete you further because you're putting your energy into that rather than deciding what you can change at this time for yourself in order to bring in more energy. And here's where I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Spirit says For some of you, this is about how you're treating your body. Okay. For some of you, it's really about finding balance. So we can't complain about being exhausted while putting toxic things into our body. Or we can't complain about our exhaustion if we are running ourselves rampant and never taking time to rest or not taking adequate time to rest, right? We cannot complain about our exhaustion if we're doing nothing in order to surrender and release old baggage that we carry, and we all do. So this isn't a direct attack on you. We all have done this and we all still continue to do this. But you can't complain about the exhaustion and focus solely on the exhaustion or use it as an excuse when you have a route or you have options to change that. Okay, they're being a little firm, these ancestors. It's like spanking time. Everybody needs a spanking right now. Um, Luckily, it's not really a real spanking, but um, ancestors are funny today. So anyhow, um, they don't want you to continue to focus your attention on that or to use it as an excuse for why you're not moving forward. When you can take routes, even though they're difficult, even though they could be painful to look at and deal with or to take action on, um, they will create more energy within you and give you back your life force energy because this is a problem of your sacral chakra being blocked. And it's being blocked. You think of the sacral chakra that's connected to your digestive system, which actually regulates, it's like your second brain. It regulates your gut and your brain and your emotions and whether or not you can release serotonin, or whether or not you can be happy, or if you're going to be depressed, or if you're going to be lethargic, or if you're going to be higher states of energy, or all of these things have to do with your sacral energy. And in order for you to get that unstuck, there is an amount of work that you can do or things that you can do to shift that, to bring in more energy, to bring healing to your sacral energy. Okay? And again, your sacral energy is your manifestation ability too. They're tied in together. It's your life force energy. And so this is really important for somebody that you hear this, that your ancestors are saying no more excuses. You have everything you need in order to resolve this, even if it's one step at a time. You're not expected to build Rome in one day. You weren't built this way in one day. The life that you have lived up until now did not happen in one day. So it's going to take time to deprogram and reprogram all of who you are truly meant to be and get rid of all the stuff that isn't authentic to you. But this can change. So this I'm getting a lot of like, yes, you are feeling this way, but why are you feeling this way? Are you being honest with yourself? Are you actually changing things in your life in order to help you, in order to help your body or help your mind or help your emotions to align with higher states of energy? Because the energy is already around each of us. We all have access to the same amount of energy. It's just how much have you cleared out of your body, your mind, your emotions, your beliefs? Um, how much have you cleared out of there to make space for the new to come in? So I'll stop ranting. Yeah, they want to keep going on, but I'm going to be a little firm on that. Nope, nope, no. We're going to keep going because otherwise this message will be, like 5 days long. Okay. Ah, good water. Okay, the next card that we have, what needs to be released? Escaping. This has come up quite a few times in this collective, and hey, we all do it in some way, shape, or form. Even me who has faced the deepest, darkest parts of myself, I still, and I've been on this journey for a while, I still have tendencies to do this. So even though I know it's not that painful anymore to face this pain, you know? It's like that in itself is a cycle. It's a program, right? So we need to maybe contemplate this one a little bit more, this escaping. So it says avoiding, blocking, pushing away. Yeah, and it's mainly about not wanting to face this pain, right? That's what it is. Because again, we've been programmed our whole lives to run away from the pain. So it's only natural that we would find any way, any avenue, and any opportunity that we could possibly take to avoid looking at the pain or facing it or feeling it, right? We do all kinds of tricky things, even our minds, even unconsciously. I realized this more recently when I had an interaction with somebody that unconsciously I immediately pushed them away in order to avoid getting close to them because of the pain that I experienced over the last year, right? Over the last 14 months. So that was an unconscious behavior. But when I went home and analyzed that, I went, wow, look at me trying to protect myself, right? So sometimes these things are hidden, sometimes they're very obvious. But there is a need to assess maybe how you're escaping, what you're using to escape with, what the mechanisms, your own personal mechanisms are and why, and then maybe doing a little bit of releasing or healing or reprogramming around that, right? Your neuro neuralistic, oh, I'm having NLP, neuralistic programming. Oh, I don't know. Maybe that sounds weird today. I don't know why. Too sure what's going on. Um, yeah, anyhow, back to the program. Yeah, for some of you who are resonating with this, there's some aspect or avenue which you've been taking that maybe not the healthiest for you, or it may be causing some sort of addiction, or it may be preventing you from hearing the message that is trying to come through from your ancestors, I just heard. So there is a need to detach from these ways of being and operating because there is a deeper connection within the silence. Okay, there is a deeper connection looking to be made between your spirit guides, your holy ancestors, the angels, source, the universe. Um, they want to connect with you on a deeper level. And so silence is required for that to happen. So, yeah, we'll leave it there, I'm told. Time, waiting, cycles, moments. Yeah, okay. That's funny. This one came through. That one may belong to me as well. Just going to be honest. Okay, so this has come up before, but I just had this whole thing roll through my head over the last 24 hours or so about time and about pressure to perform, pressure to show up in a certain way, or pressure to get things done within a certain amount of time. We operate that way in society. And the more of an urban situation you live in, meaning like the bigger of a city you live in, the crazier this time crunch feels, right? And depending on how you were raised, and what cultural beliefs, whether you're female or male, what the expectations are, societal beliefs and conditioning, all of those things, as well as balancing. outside environments with your inner environments, such as home and work life, and um, that's going to determine how you feel about time. And there is a need to, and this came up in a previous reading too, to find your own personal flow by releasing any excess burdens on you or requests for your time and attention or extras that you may normally engage in. But there is a level or a degree in which this affects you and affects your ability to remain in that flow of energy, in your own personal flow of energy, right? So if you have too many demands on you, where can you eliminate those demands? Where can you say no and put up a boundary in order to protect yourself, but also in order to eliminate that feeling as though there is this time crunch, right? For some of you, that's what it is about. For others of you, you've been waiting, you've been doing the work, you've been waiting for a new cycle to begin. But it's like watching the pot boil, and you have like this expectation for it to come in. But when you're sitting there watching the pot boil, it doesn't come in any faster. In fact, it feels like an eternity. And that is because, in this sense, when you are waiting for a new cycle to begin, when you are waiting for the change, you are putting your focus on that too much. And so it actually slows it down. It causes resistance. And so for some of you, you're needing to let go of the waiting, of the expectation, and to instead, if you have the capacity right now, to go do something more joyful, to go play a game, create a puzzle, do something that's going to uplift you, go bowling. I don't know, go climb a mountain, whatever it is that's going to bring you joy, go swim in a lake. Um, Whatever it is, even if it's something small, redirect your attention and stop putting your focus here. I'm hearing, oh, ancestors. Ancestors come through pretty sternly sometimes because you got to think about those past ancestors of ours. They've lived through, like the Great Depression and wars and all kinds of craziness. And so sometimes they do come through pretty sternly, but they're like, stop waiting for it. Go do something. Like if you have this much time on your hands that that's all you're thinking about, then put it to good use. Put it to good use and go do something fun, because that's actually going to bring it in faster. Okay. Yeah. Then we got this card that makes me feel uneasy. Okay, so it's called Second Chance, Reconciliation, Making Amends, Opportunity. All right. Ugh, my stomach is burning when I'm holding this card. Okay, so tapping into yesterday's message a little bit, anybody who has already demonstrated who they are to you, they've shown you, does not need a second chance. Okay? I'm going to be clear about that because the ancestors are like, tell them. Okay. You already know who this person is to you or people. They have already shown you what they are about. So there is no need to repeat a cycle. It is time to release them. So if somebody's coming through asking for a second chance, trying to manipulate your emotions or trying to control the narrative, whatever it is, or love bomb you, because that came through yesterday, whatever it is, keep that ball a rolling, I heard, and let it roll on by and no second chances, no dice, no dice, because they've already demonstrated to you who they are, okay? Now, for others of you, this is reconciliation in the form of forgiving, forgiving yourself, forgiving other people, forgiving your past. And you see opportunity on here? Pardon me. This is about reconciling with the decisions that you made that led you to certain situations or people, right? There is a level of forgiveness that is needed for self. Even at the very beginning of this stage, you need to be able to forgive yourself enough and heal enough that you can actually leave a really painful situation or person behind, right? So, all along our journey, just like this pain card was described, this comes up. The need to forgive at different levels comes up over and over and over and over again until we have fully resolved our grievances with the other person or within ourselves. And so the reconciliation aspect of this card really speaks to me about giving yourself the ability to accept and love and forgive yourself, as well as possibly, depending on where you are on your journey, forgiving those who have caused you pain in your life. Now, I'm not saying that that applies to everybody because you don't get there at the beginning of your journey, or not even like 6 months down. You don't get there to forgiving others, right? Depending on how atrocious the behaviors were that you experienced. Um, so I'll just state that. I mean, some people might get there if it's not super, super bad, but generally, if you've experienced some pretty terrible human behavior, then you're likely not to be forgiving them in 6 months. You're still working on forgiving you, right? So take that as it applies to your story. But reconciliation is going to be needed regardless of where you are. And this is a matter of forgiving. So again, it doesn't necessarily have to be the other. It may be a part of you that needs to be forgiven. And maybe that's what this whole pain thing is. And I also heard that time, using also the excuse of not having enough time to, I heard the word rehabilitate yourself, rehabilitate your heart, right? So some people are using time as the excuse for not going within and looking at this pain. That may be your form of escaping, in fact. Okay. Um, yeah, we're gonna leave that right there. Okay. We're getting long. So if this is gonna be a really long reading, I'm just gonna post the whole thing today. You can come back to it as you need, but if it's like a 2 hour reading, like yesterday's reading, I am gonna post the whole thing today and just allow you to go through it whenever you have the time, okay? Rather than cut it in half because this is a portal reading. Okay, so I'm hearing this step. What should the collective bring with them or keep throughout this portal? Okie dokie. That was fast. All right. Is that it? One more. Okay. Wow. Super fast. These cards really jump out. Okay, so the first card that we received was Majestic Eminence, Priestess, Divine Feminine, Worth. And yeah, I guess I'll show you the card. It's pretty. Okay, so coming back to this possibilities card and the sacral and the solar plexus chakra that's currently being worked on or needs to be worked on. Um, Really, what spirit and what your ancestors want to help you with or are guiding you towards is ensuring that your self-confidence, your self-worth, your stability, your structure, your strength, your tenacity, your your ability, your capability to maintain or sustain yourself or your future, your manifestation abilities and power. They want you to take that with you, which is why there is a focus on certain aspects, like intimacy ties into your root chakra. If you've ever been in a situation where you have been, uh, do I spell that out? ASSAULTED in any way, shape, or form, whether when you were a child or as a youth or an adult, that's going to tie into this, right, as well. So that's coming through for somebody specifically. There's going to be limitations and wounds around your root chakra as well as your sacral chakra. And so tapping into that energy of the root chakra and tapping into your own possibilities, your worth, your self-worth, taking that through this portal with you. That's going to help you to step into the next leg of your personal story, your personal journey, right? So it's going to give you a level of empowerment, and they're really asking you to look at where you have developed this self-worth, where you have developed your own ability to harness your strength and harness your resiliency and bring that forward to the table so that you can see all of the decisions that you have been making to improve that as well, because they need you to reflect on this aspect of yourself to show you that you have made progress, because some of you are being held back in your self-worth because you're not seeing the progress, or you're um, only seeing snippets of it. You're not really looking at the whole picture. And they want you to see just how far you have come, or how much momentum you have gained, even if you're not out of a bad situation yet. Just how much momentum have you gained? How much power? How much information? How much self-worth are you developing? And how much will you develop in the next year as you move through this portal and make these shifts? So we've got divine feminine here. So there is also a request or a need to ensure that you are using your intuition, that you're tapping into those frequencies, your ability to feel into situations as an empath, right? Your ability to intuit information that comes through, the synchronicities, the guidance you're receiving, your ability um, to not only just tap into your psychic and spiritual gifts, but to nurture what it is that you're wishing to grow and create in this next timeline. So from today to the next Lionsgate portal on August 8th of next year, 2026, right? So this is about nurturing what it is that you want and using your own feminine, and it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, we all have divine feminine and divine masculine within us, but using that energy in particular to manifest, to create. And if there are blocks around um, injuries from childhood or from experiences, such as, excuse me, confirmation burps, such as around your root chakra or your sacral chakra. If there is still some pain there, then there is a level of this divine mother that needs to be called upon, or support. The divine mother can come in to support you. You can call upon her from your holy ancestors. The most nurturing of all of them will come through to help support you through this journey, through this access point where you can then harness and transmute that pain into your next creation. And so there is a level of needing to call in this energy for yourself in order to reestablish your self-worth and your self-confidence, or to amplify it again, depending on where you are on your journey, right? Okay, then we have sanctuary, healing and comfort, faith, restoration. Okay, so you're being asked to ensure that you still keep your inner sanctuary, that you still keep your faith, and that you continue to not only grow or maintain, but grow and evolve any processes that you have been doing on an energetic level, a spiritual level, an emotional level, to cultivate a better space for yourself. So again, the nervous system comes up here because when we are coming from situations that are stormy or that are constantly chaotic, then that throws our nervous system out of whack. So this includes your personal space, your home environments, or time to yourself, or the way in which you speak to yourself. This includes how you show up in the world and the people that you allow into your world. If you've been cultivating a space that is more calm, that brings peace into your life, or that at least brings a level of balance to your life, or restoration, or healing. Um, or regulation to your life, Spirit's asking you to take this with you through this portal. Ensure that you are keeping all of your practices or all of your boundaries, all of your expectations in place, and the ways in which you are dealing with yourself and dealing with others in your environment, right? So, bringing bringing through not only your behaviors and your newfound way of existing in the world, but also bringing forward the love that you've cultivated. That's really important because in this, you can see that there is a lot of heart chakra energy, that green energy rolling through every aspect of this. And so this is really about the heart openings that you've already experienced through this journey, through this work, not allowing that to be swayed off path by anything that comes forward today or in the next few days, because that portal remains open for a little while afterwards, too. So, anybody or anything that's coming in to try and create chaos or to sway you from living out of your heart space or the energy that you have cultivated for yourself, make sure that you're remaining in integrity with that and not allowing anything to sway you. Notice when it does happen, call it out and choose otherwise in that moment. Like, no, I see what that is. That's chaos energy. I'm not gonna, like my story, I'm not gonna have road rage. I'm not gonna get angry or frustrated. I'm just going to take my time and I'll get there when I get there. Deep breath. All right. So it's going to be really important that you protect your sanctuary, whatever that looks like for you, whatever work you have put into it thus far, protect it as you move through this portal because the need is stronger than ever because this energy of chaos, the energy of past attachments or versions of self might be trying to come forward at this time through many different avenues and people and situations, okay? The other thing that you're being asked to bring forward with you, to carry through this portal with you, is we've got this manifestation card. So, prosperity, fortune, pure intentions. So again, this card came up yesterday. I'm not super surprised it came up today. So just making sure that your intentions as you move through any blockages, any resistance, any situations or people, that your intentions and your focus remain pure or purely on what you want to cultivate in your life instead of what you don't, right? Um, and also, I'm hearing this abundance mindset because when situations come up, or people or past comes up, uh, that's coming from a lack mindset. Those people, those situations that are being created, or the chaos energy, that's all coming from lack. It's all coming from a lower, denser vibration energetically, spiritually, physically. And so it's really important for you to focus instead of on those situations, to focus on prosperity for yourself, abundance. Have a abundant mindset. Like if a situation comes up where you need to respond to something, say you get a letter or an email or something and you have to respond and it's coming from a very negative place, it's coming from past people or versions of self or whatever it is, and you need to respond to it, then you're being asked to look at it in a more abundant, with a more abundant mindset, which would be like, well, what is the lesson that I need to learn here? Why is this still showing up? What is it that um, which aspects of me need to be applied to this, or which aspects of me are still attracting this, or does it even have anything to do with me anymore? How am I going to react in the highest version, the most abundant version? What is the opportunity here? What is the lesson here, right? That is an abundant mindset. When you can look at something and no longer feel the pain, you detach from the frustration, even if you feel it for a moment, you redirect yourself, you re-regulate yourself, you do whatever you need to find balance in your emotional state, your mental state, and then you redirect your attention towards more abundant things that will bring in prosperity for you, right? And keeping your intentions pure. That means not giving in to those lower vibrational thoughts or feelings. Again, redirecting your energy. So it's going to be really important for all of us moving through this portal. And your ancestors are really asking you to pay attention to this, to bring this with you, and to continue cultivating this mindset because it is this training of your focus which is going to change your life completely, I just heard. Okay, great. That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to have some water here and then we will move on to the next leg of this beautiful ancestor journey. Okay, so my next question to the ancestors here is what is the opportunity with this portal for the collective? What is the collective's opportunity with this portal? Please and thank you, Holy Spirit and holy ancestors. Oh, there we go. Okay. What is the opportunity for the collective with this portal? What's the collective's opportunity for this portal? Please and thank you, ancestors. Ooh, oh, being told to flip that. Oh, oh, I'm being told to leave it at that for now. Okay. Okay, so we've got patience and the healer of ages. Okay. So what I'm getting with this is, you know how they say patience is a virtue? And we've got this Christ-like figure here, Jesus. So with these two cards together, what I'm really getting most is that your opportunity with this portal is to align yourself with a higher degree um, of healing, of growth, of expansion, but also with these virtues that set you apart from other people. Okay, so our virtues, our morals, the compass that we live by is what distinguishes us from people who are operating maybe in a karmic stance or in a lower realm or in a unhealed realm, right? Which is going to allow you clearer discernment as to what opportunities are for you and what is not. It's going to open up the pathway for greater healing so that you can see the path ahead clearer, right? So what this is really bringing in is a new a new dimension of yourself, a higher level of consciousness within yourself so that all your decisions going forward will be easier. So, no matter where you are on your path, I'm being told to just reiterate that it does not mean that your path is going to be easy because that's dependent on where you are, if you're at the beginning or if you're later on, right? Pardon me. But what it does mean, oh, I put these separate. What it does mean is that it's going to be easier and dependent on how far along you are on this journey. It may be quite a bit easier to see or to understand what opportunities are best for you and what's going to maybe be less beneficial or what's going to be, yeah, okay, what's going to be a continuation of old cycles and what's going to benefit you in the future or in the long run, right? So it's really illuminating because you're healing aspects of yourself um, by going through this portal and working on all of these blockages or resistance or this challenge, if you will. um, you're going to be able to, with this new sense of self and this new level of consciousness and awareness, you're going to be able to discern all of the things that are going to complete you as a soul or to elevate you going forward. Okay, so that's lovely. I see that this patience card and um, this healer of the ages really ties into your virtues. So it's allowing you to more easily align with your moral compass, with these virtues, and when you're doing that, you're bringing in more light. You are, pardon me. I'm going to clear the energy for a second here. Okay, that is a little bit better. You're bringing in more light and more creativity and more passion, and your ability to manifest and create becomes really strong the more you clear out, right? So this is an opportunity for you to align with that. That's what this is. For you to align with a completely different version of self, a completely new cycle. I'm hearing for each of you, it's going to be a different cycle, but it is a new cycle. That's what the opportunity is. It's to attain a certain level of healing on your journey so that you can step into this new cycle as a more completed version of yourself, a more whole version of yourself. And that's why you're being asked to take with you all of these things that you've already been growing and identifying and working on as as a soul on this journey. Okay. All right. Let's see here. I am being called to this deck again. How can the collective claim this opportunity? How can the collective claim this opportunity? Okay, so we've got wisdom, intuition, and truth. So again, this is tying into this majestic eminence card. So this is tapping into your own personal truth, right? So what is right for you? Uh, again, deciding where you're going to place your energy, where you're going to place your time, where you're going to place your focus. That is wisdom. When you can train your focus like that, that is wisdom. That is the experience and the knowledge put together in a complete package, which is what wisdom is. And this is really allowing you to tap into your psychic gifts and abilities and your ability to feel energy on a deeper, more profound level. So you can claim this by accessing these aspects of your divine feminine side, right? This nurturing, this tapping into your psychic gifts and abilities. And everybody has psychic gifts and abilities. So if you haven't spent any time to try and develop those, then this is what's being called for at this time. Or if you have, then you're being asked to connect on a deeper level. And this guidance is coming from your ancestors specifically. And I had mentioned before that they wanted to connect with you, that they have a message for you, or they have an illumination for you, or a higher perspective. There's some level or some degree of information that is wishing to come through at this time, that you are being asked to tap into your own psychic gifts and abilities, but there may be limiting beliefs on your ability to tap into that. So maybe that's why you're not seeing the possibilities that exist, is because you have a blockage in believing that you have psychic gifts or abilities or healing abilities, right? So there's some gift here that they're trying to share with you, and that will help you on the next stage of your journey over the next year. But it does require you to use these gifts, to use these abilities on your own, and to create some sort of connection between your gifts, your truth, your personal truth, as well as your intuition and your connection to spirit, to to the angelic realm, but more specifically the ancestors, because they are the ones who are going to help you to learn how to discern, or learn how to eliminate things that aren't good for you, or like getting readings is perfectly fine, but they want you to also develop your own intuition, or to strengthen your own psychic gifts and your own intuition, right? So, pardon me, something's going after my throat during this last part of the reading. Um, Somebody doesn't want this message out, but it's coming out regardless. So, you can claim this message as well if you like. This is my message. I claim it. All right. Yeah, so that is how you're going to claim this opportunity, is by trusting your own intuition. That's a big part of it also, is just trusting your gut feelings, trusting your feelings on a situation. Maybe it's upon taking action, like, when do I act? When is the right time to act? Trusting that when that thought comes into your head, like, it's time to move, it's time to act, do it then. Also, passionate action taking. So if you don't feel like you have the energy, or you don't feel, and not excuses energy, right? What that we talked about. But if you don't feel a passionate drive to do something, then don't do it. Don't pursue it. Take passionate action towards your goals and towards your futures or your desires, because that's what's going to help shift you into, or propel you, and I just saw like the speed of light. That's going to propel you so much faster through and into that opportunity, or into this new opportunity, and into what you want, with ease, rather than with resistance and confliction and confusion and anything else that might come up because of resistance being caused, right? So, having the wisdom to know when to act and when not to, when to rest, when to take action, tapping into those aspects, because you have all of this wisdom within you already. You have a lot of things that are already guiding you, but there may be a level of not trusting it because you don't believe in it, or there are limiting beliefs around that, right? Blocks. Things blocking you, things preventing you from believing in your own self, in your self-worth, in your confidence, right? So that may that will help you, I should say. I was going to say something else, but that was a different stream of consciousness. Sorry. That'll help you get through this situation, as well as this portal, and to claim this opportunity for yourself. Okay. So before we go forward, I don't think the next cards I'm going to use have numbers. Oh yeah, that one does, but I'll call out that number afterwards. I'm going to call out the numbers that I see here. Now, these numbers may resonate with a specific date, an important date, or a birth date or year, or a calendar date or a month. They could represent your age. They could represent somebody else's age. So if they resonate with you, take this as extra confirmation that this is your reading. If they do not resonate with you, if something specific didn't happen at that age in your life, say, that does not mean that it's not your reading. It just means that whoever these numbers are for needs to pay extra attention or close attention to that message that came through. Okay, so we have on the table right now 17, 1, 44, 5, 10, 16, 51, yeah, 51, 29, 35, and 27. All right. Okay, so yes, I'm being called to the runes. Holy ancestors, Holy Spirit, any final advice for the collective as they move through this portal? Any final advice for the collective as they move through this portal? Okay, so we have algas, protection, a crab on there, and then we have Wanjo, and that's joy, the lion, and a dream catcher. Then we have Dagas, which is breakthrough, and I see a moth over the world and a mandala or flower behind it. And then we have Urus, which is strength. And I think this is a either a buffalo skull or a skull of a cow and another mandala type flower. Okay, so final advice for the collective. Okay, so obviously, with the sanctuary card, making sure that you're protecting yourself. Again, we had some energies coming through yesterday where you might receive a message or a letter or an email or a phone call or something from somebody who might try to disrupt your path, disrupt your peace right before you move into this portal. So that might have happened already, or it might be happening tomorrow, or it may have happened yesterday. Um, Whatever this energy is that's coming through, again, training your focus on out of that and onto what it is that you want to create, ensuring that you are protecting your inner child. When it's beside this joy, that's what I'm really seeing is that your inner child right now needs to be protected. And so when you allow yourself to operate or go back into old past versions of yourself or um, to get into this chaotic energy or lower vibrational emotions or feelings, then you are essentially, by stepping back into the pattern, you are removing the protective mechanisms that you've built around your inner child to keep them safe. So, whatever relationship you've been developing with your inner child or that you are in the process of with the sanctuary card, your inner child is being asked, or you're being asked to protect your inner child at this time and ensure that what you are bringing through this portal remains after the portal closes. And so really stepping away from anything that creates chaos in your life or choosing a different path if it does arise is going to be that protection that your inner child needs, right? So sometimes, sometimes we need to release people, blockages, situations, old patterns in which we behave, old attachments. We need to release these things in order to create a sense of safety within ourselves. And that's not selfish. That is self-love. Okay. And other people, or yeah, mainly other people, will try and tell you that that's selfish or that you're only thinking about yourself and play on your emotions or anything to that degree to try and make you feel as though you're in the wrong or that you've done something wrong, but you're not. You're protecting you first, your inner child. And that's what's most important right here. That's what's really, really um, needing the most protection is your inner child, that part of you that is joyful, that loves without boundaries, right? That is vulnerable, that is open, just like a child. You want to protect a child. Well, this is no different. You are to protect your inner child by making decisions that are from wisdom, right? From your intuition, that are aligned with those aspects of self that are going to bring out more joy in the future and allow your inner child to feel more protected and safe enough to be vulnerable, to come out, to express themselves, which helps you to create and manifest, right? We've got this manifestation card. So that does help you to manifest your reality when your inner child feels safe enough to actually be seen, heard, to explore, to have fun in an open way. But it does require you to protect yourself, to protect that part of you that could be vulnerable to situations or people that may be coming up at this time, and testing you in that way. Okay. The other advice that we're getting here is we've got breakthrough and strength. So this is an opportunity to really break through and demonstrate to yourself your own inner strength, your own resilience, your own capacity to carry yourself. This has nothing to do with others. Okay, even if you have, say, like a family or children that you need to think about, we're just coming down to the core of this, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't take care of your kids, that you shouldn't think about their well-being. Of course you should. But what I am saying is that this is an opportunity for you to learn what you are truly made of. And you may not see it right away after going through this portal, after taking care of some of these loose ends or learning certain lessons or closing certain cycles. You may not see it right away. You may see it like 4 months from now, or 2 months from now, or even 6 months from now. Everybody's different. But this is coming forward to teach you something about your own inner strength. It's a breakthrough moment. That's what this is. It's an opportunity to break through and completely shatter the old and to integrate all of these new aspects and qualities of yourself that were always there, but were hiding under the surface. And so, um, your ancestors really want to make it clear that um, they're advising you to look at the bigger picture of why you're doing all of this. Okay, not using the excuses of being tired or not having enough time or um, maybe not seeing the opportunities or whatever it is for you. But instead to look at the bigger picture and use your inner strength that you've already cultivated to break through this timeline and move into the next timeline. And they're saying, like, you already cultivated enough strength to act out of alignment, right? Make sure you're aligned before you act. That's where this wisdom comes from, is ensuring that whatever actions you take are inspired actions, that they are aligned. They're coming from a grounded, aligned place. Okay. And that's going to help you to break through. So, okay, we're going to get a couple. No, oh, okay, we're not going to do that. Okay, ancestors, they're running the show today. So, I'm going to get a card from the Dreaming of You Shaman Oracle deck by Roger Metz. Show you that book since I have it here. If you're interested in buying that one, we're going to get one of these cards and for closing message, and then we're also going to get an Earth Warriors Oracle message from Alana Fairchild. So, Holy Ancestors, can we get a closing message for the collective for this portal, the Lionsgate portal, please and thank you. You'll notice I'm saying please and thank you a lot in this one. I don't know about you, but having proper manners back in the day was important. So my ancestors, my holy ancestors, uh, really are big on using your manners, using respect, even when they're joking around with you. All right. Closing message for the collective. Whoa, that was way too many. Top? Okay. Okay, so the card that we pulled was Nibello. Looks like an eye. And the card number is 34, so that may resonate with you. Oh, we have 34, 35. Hmm. Okay. I forget what those numbers were, but 10. Okay. Yeah, so this is the card. Turn it sideways. I guess that would be upside down. It looks more like the eye that way. Nibello. Okay. Oh, I opened it right to the exact page. Perfect. Ah, fogginess. Nibello Shaman asks that you honor the complexity of this moment, its freedom, and well, I don't know why I'm reading like that. Let me try that again. Nibello Shaman asks that you honor the complexity of this moment, its freedom, and enjoy the liberty of not needing to hang on to anything, not needing to know anything, not needing to be anywhere, and above all, to not need. After all, it is the illusion of need that has masked the content that is creating the fog. Everything will naturally arrive to the perfect place in the perfect time as you have dreamt. Misunderstanding will dissolve and the fog will become clarity as you let go. So let go. The Bella Shaman arrives when the contents of your world are scattered, causing fog. Although you might experience discomfort, you are in just the right place. Rebello is here to help the strewn contents of your life reassemble into something meaningful. Time and space are or have essentially reordered themselves for you. You got the time card, right? The disorientation can cause one to want to cling on to something familiar, but clinging is the last thing needed when the fog arrives. But not to worry, Novello is helping you to stay honest with yourself as you reflect and engage in this process. All will reorient perfectly in time if we completely let go and trust the capacity of this realignment companion to look after things for a while. It is time to practice the art of flying solo amongst the objects and subjects as they taunt and seemingly pull you. If you are feeling called to ground and desire some stability, then ground to your inner knowing or to your favorite element, earth, air, fire, or water. It is a great time to remember that you are not your mind. It is your mind's grasping nature that causes disturbance. Just allow yourself to notice all it's moving to and from you. Allow the debris to subside and settle where it all settles with only one intent. Expect that it will arrive where it is meant to be in joy, love, peace, grace, and harmony. The helpful key here is to remember that expectations outside of perfection will give birth to grasping. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, holy ancestors, for that. Okay. Final closing message for the collective. Please and thank you, Holy Spirit. Final closing message for the collective. Woo. One that's not turned. Okay. Mm. 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 Okay, so we've got Nana Baluku. She rests to create. Mm. Going the wrong way. Oh, I could have sworn I just saw 34. That was this card. That's funny. Okay. Mm. She rests to create. Your energy is a precious resource, and there are ways of being that can enhance it. Why am I reading like that today? Your energy is a precious resource, and there are ways of being that can enhance it, amplifying it and replenishing it. Give yourself sufficient rest, and you shall find the way forward more effortlessly. Effortless. Okay. That's kind of tying into what we were just talking about, taking action when you feel inspired, but that also comes with the balance of resting, of rejuvenating, of taking time for you, taking time to go in, right? Explore the lifestyle that grows your inner resources rather than requiring constant exertion and exhaustion to accomplish an endless list of external pursuits. You need the shift in being now because you are ready to accomplish more. For this to take place, there needs to be less effort and more wisdom. Trust the value. Trust the value what can be accomplished through rest. In a reading, you have more than enough energy to bring to life the sacred visions held within your heart. An increase of energy and peacefulness is indicated. You are guided to choose high energy people, places, and purposes. This does not necessarily mean that which is highly stimulating, rather, it refers to that which regenerates you with peacefulness and joy. Give generously to yourself to be able to give generously to others. You have unusual ideas or ways of being that suit you, but may not suit others. Work with what works best for you without trying to force yourself to conform. This brings well being and creative success. I just got spiritual burps there. Confirmation. I only get those a lot when I am channeling. So, yeah. Spiritual guidance. Nanabaluku is the African grandmother, creatrix, the supreme feminine creative principle. She created the universe, then rested. The intersection of rest and extraordinary creative power is repeated in numerous spiritual traditions from varied cultures around the world. It is also repeated in the lives of inspirational innovators in varied fields of discipline, from the sciences to the arts. When you are boldly ambitious and creatively confident for the fulfillment of your life purpose and heart-inspired plans, it may seem that rest is the last thing that you have time for. There is so much to be accomplished, yet the conscious use of deep rest allows us to connect closely to the divine creative genius. Taking time for renewing stillness can allow us to work smarter rather than just always working harder. African spirituality is based on a holistic worldview where no issue in one's life is separate from the spiritual worlds. This recognition that the divine is innate or in I can't read today, is intimately involved and lovingly invested in every single aspect of your life is how you begin to generate restful consciousness. This type of consciousness is based on trust that the divine knows what you are here to do and wants to help you do it. Therefore, you don't have to orchestrate the details of your life, nor figure out everything or anything of your own. You do not need to have signs to prove something is happening every single day. What you need is faith in the fundamental good. What you need is faith in the fundamental good will that the divine has towards you and your life purpose, the reason for which you chose life in the first place. From that place of restful consciousness, you can make profound progress. You can release striving and pursuit in favor of activity that comes from a place of inner inspiration, born from rest. In the mystical traditions of many cultures, that period of rest is considered to be the time when we incubate in silence and spaciousness. Through the invisible workings of the most willing and loving Great Spirit, all quiet and openness is responded to with renewed energy, clearer direction, and helpful guidance. You will likely find yourself becoming more active and certainly more productive through this process of resting regularly as part of your lifestyle. Rather than constantly discharging energy without having time to adequately restore yourself, instead, you will be regenerating more swiftly and deeply on all levels of your being and continually amplifying your energetic output. Your actions will have further reach. You'll have more to share with your loved ones. This sacred subversion of established disorder that would otherwise have you chasing your tail, running yourself ragged, and wearing yourself out in the belief that somehow this would help you to get where you want to be, to make the contribution that you want to make. Instead, you will be healing and growing and creating from a place of trust within, creating the new world order in harmony with divine genius. The healing process. Feel free to pause this video and write it down. Find a place to rest, lying down flat on your back, with your legs and arms slightly apart, preferably with soft lighting so that you can close your eyes. The aim is to create a restful environment that will feel supportive of you, slowing down your thought processes and settling out of your head and into your body. Gaze at the card image. So you may need your phone for this. Gaze at the card image, noticing the soft circles that surround the head of the goddess. Allow your vision to soften and even become a little blurry as you slowly and gently shift your gaze from circle to circle. Do not focus sharply on anything, but just lightly and easily shift your gaze from left to right and right to left, up and down, down and up, from circle to circle. Do this slowly until it feels lightly hypnotic and relaxing. You are going to imagine, I'm just going to hold this here for you. Let's see here, right there. You're going to imagine, visualize, feel, or pretend that your thoughts can drift out of your head, moving around outside of your head, becoming like the soft, round circles. The more the thoughts become soft, round, and gently moving outside of your head, the more peaceful and restful the inside of your head feels. You can relax more deeply for healing and restoration. When you are ready, lay the card beside you. Well, you can't do that, but when you are ready, close your eyes, rest for as long as feels good. When you are ready to awaken from your rest, ground yourself with some physical movement as you bring yourself back into the now. You have completed your healing process. Wow, that's beautiful advice. Great closing message. So, yeah, thank you, Holy Ancestors, for joining us today for this collective reading, this portal reading. And oddly enough, we do have the lion here under joy. And I was feeling a lot of joy and excitement as I was starting this reading. So, Lionsgate Portal, that is very significant, bringing through some more joy, bringing through a different version of ourselves, higher energy, higher degrees of experiences and life and renewal and healing and just access to manifestations, access to just different levels of being. So, I'm really excited. If you're excited, let me know in the comments. Or if you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you at all, please give it a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. I cannot talk today. I thought retrograde was coming to a close. Smash that subscribe button if you're new here and if you would like to join our amazing community of high vibe and beautiful people. And otherwise, I will see you in tomorrow's reading. If I don't get it out tomorrow, then it will be out Sunday, but I may record tomorrow and then put it out Sunday just because it's going to be an extra long recording for me, typically about 3 hours and some when I do a pick a card. Just depends on what's going to come through. So stay tuned for that reading because that's going to be about your specific archetype. And that'll be a choice pile that you can pick. So with your intuition. So yeah, that'll be a great read. Really looking forward to it and looking forward to the coming energy that is changing as we move through this portal. Congratulations to all of you who are stepping up, taking action on your own life, harnessing your own power, your own strength, all of these beautiful gifts and these amazing things that are coming forward in the collective and these lessons. And yeah, just good job. Like, really, the ancestors are super, super proud of you. And they really want to help you through this portal so you can get the most out of your life going forward in the next year. All right. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. I'm blessed to have each and every one of you here and for your contribution of energy. I greatly appreciate it. See you soon. Bye.